Hi, I'm Jake DuPree, and this is Today IRL. Today's episode is all about pride, and I am so excited to share with you some awesome and emotional coming out stories. We'll be speaking to a filmmaker from China, and to celebrate, we have Shangela from RuPaul's Drag Race and A Star Is Born. Hallelujah! Now we're taking it to the streets to talk to people about pride. For me, pride is every day, not just the month of June. So I'm here on the streets of New York to figure out what pride means to you. What's your names?
Asha, Marie, Anisha.
Hi, I'm Jake.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How do you feel about pride?
I think it's really empowering, and I think it's something that everyone should have, as well as just be accepting and just love anybody, gender-wise.
How do you feel about being an ally?
I think everybody should be supportive and, be there for one another. That's really, really important.
How do you feel about gay pride?
I think that it's very important to include everyone, especially when you love different types of people. I think that feeling inclusive is very important.
How do you feel about being an ally?
I work in the fashion industry, so I'm used to it. So this is friends, colleagues, teachers, everyone around me. It's a personal choice, and I respect it.
People are people.
Exactly.
Love is love.
Exactly.
What would you say to someone who's struggling to come out?
I would tell them to find a support group of people who are like them, people who love them, and be able to come out to them first so they can get the confidence to be as proud as they should be.
Thank you for your beautiful soul. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Bye. I am just so proud. I am so excited to be sitting with the one, the only, Miss Shangela. What? I know it's a little awkward seeing you now because I think I have something to apologize to you for. What? Okay. So, remember you were on All Stars 3? I remember. And remember, I was your partner, and we did lovely. But I think I was the reason why you lost.
What?
I do,
Oh,
I
good.
do.
I've been trying to
think
figure it out. I knew it couldn't have been me, so.
I will take full credit because you did not deserve to lose.
Oh, thank you.
So it was my fault, and you can hate me if you want.
You
I'm okay
did
with
not.
that.
You know what? It was really fun working with you, and I remember when we danced together. You remember we had that moment where we had to lean back and kick up,
Yeah,
and you were
yes.
like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna drop you." And I was like, "Are you sure, baby?" You're like, "I'm not gonna drop you." And you
I got
didn't.
you.
Hallelujah.
I didn't.
Kitty girl.
And our kicks were the best.
Right.
The best. I will say that because there's some that weren't. That's all I'm gonna say. This episode is all about pride, and I want to talk to you about what coming out was like for you. How did it change you?
I grew up in a very small town, Paris, Texas.
Yes.
And a lot of times when you grow up in a small town and you're gay, you look around and you don't see a lot of people that look like you or behave like you, and you start to feel like you're the only one. And for a while, that's how I felt. Not being out. But then when I finally did come out, it was a very freeing experience for me. I felt like I'd always been myself, and I always went for everything I wanted. I was the first male cheerleader at my high school since 1963, honey. Yeah, it's been a long time. But I was there, just me and all the girls on the varsity squad. But when I finally left and came out, I felt like, okay, I've been missing a part of my life. Mm-hmm. And now, and I think that's important for everyone to know that when you can come out, when you can realize who you are, and people do it at different stages in their life, but when you finally have that moment when you go, aha, this is me, I'm proud of everything I am, I'm not ashamed of anything, I'm proud of me, and I'm ready to share it with the world, that's when you're being your best self. So,
and I think so many young people, they have so many examples to look at now and be like, I see this life, and I could live that and do that. But I mean, growing up, sometimes I feel like I could never see that, especially growing up in small town Arkansas.
Well, and me wanting to grow up and be an actor, I didn't feel like there were any openly gay actors on TV. So I'm like, well, you can't be openly gay and be an actor. It's not a smart thing to say because obviously there have been lots of gay actors.
Yes.
But there were just not a lot of roles on television.
And who could be honest about themselves. And that's the part that I think a lot of people, we live in a good time, I think, where they're out and proud and successful.
Well, and it makes me so happy to see so many young kids even. I love everybody, obviously, but even to see the kids, especially at DragCon, you've been there, and they come, they show up, and they're with their families, and there's so many people, parents who are supportive that because they have resources to learn more. A lot of times when people come out or the kids are like, I don't know what to do or I don't know nothing about this. But now we have the internet and we got television shows and just really people are a lot smarter, and I love that. More love to go around.
Me too. And what would you say to people that are struggling to come out in this time?
Well, I would say first, you have to make the right time for you. Honestly, you have to, when it's when you feel most comfortable with yourself. Absolutely. That can happen at any time. Second, I say don't think that you're the only one.
No.
Never think you're the only one. There are lots of people like you. And just like RuPaul says, sometimes we have to create our own families. So find a friend, and even if not, be able to look in the mirror and go, you know what? Even if nobody else supports me in this moment, I love me. And know that it will always get better.
Yeah, let me just say this about you being in A Star Is Born. You truly stole the show.
What?
You did amazing.
Don't
it was
tell
so
Gaga
good.
and Bradley they're the stars. They're the stars.
Like, cover your ears, Gaga and Bradley, but like, you were amazing in the movie.
Thank
And
you.
it was so cool to see you up there just like really doing it. That was so awesome.
Yeah, well, you're familiar. You know what the back dressing room of a drag room is like.
Yeah.
And to work with someone like Bradley Cooper, who knew what he wanted from the scenes, he knew what he was doing as a director, but he also was so open to me and also Willem being able to, he's like, you know this world as well. Feel free to go there, and I'll pull you back if I need to. And honey, we never got a snatch back, so I was very happy about that.
I like that he was very collaborative with that and allowed the experience to be more organic and not
Yes.
be like, this is how a drag queen talks, you know?
Exactly. Well, I think that the great thing about this film is that, and with the scenes related to the drag world, is that it felt super authentic.
Yes. So do you hang out with Gaga all the time now?
Oh yeah, she's my homegirl. Give me my phone. I'll show you. No, honestly, no, we don't hang out. However, in working with her, and we got to have some really cool moments on the set, even when the cameras weren't rolling. She's so warm and loving. You feel like you're her homegirl. Like, I feel like I could really call her and be like, LG, girl, let me tell you what happened today. But then I remember I don't have that number. But anyhow,
We'll get it.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good.
I think when you go to the Oscars and she collects her
Yes.
Oscar, you can be like, okay, now's the chance.
Oh, I'm gonna be right behind her, polishing it up.
You're like, I'll carry the train. I'll
That's
carry the
my
train.
friend.
And I think that so many young people out there can look at you and say, I want a life like that. And I think that that's such a huge compliment to you.
And they can have it.
Yep.
Truly.
But
And
you
it's
gotta
about
work.
you gotta work. Hallelujah. Don't wake me up.
No. Shangela, I just want to say thank you so much, and I sincerely apologize for making you lose All Stars 3.
Ooh, we can always recreate our moment, okay?
We'll do
I'll
that.
do another dance.
We'll redo.
routine with you.
Today, we're shining a spotlight on a filmmaker from China who made headlines in China as well as the international press when she directed Escape, a film dealing with the journey of a young transgender Chinese teenager.
Before I chose this transgender topic, I came up with the theme first, which is to be yourself. I saw a documentary called Gender In Bias Out. It talks about the current living condition of transgender people in China. And their story perfectly matched with the theme I wanted to express, so I chose my topic.
The film got tons of buzz all over China, even though recent guidelines from Beijing have restricted on-screen depictions of the LGBTQIA community.
I really want the audience to resonate with the film in a way that our own true self is the most beautiful version of us. Also, I want the audience to better understand how trans people truly are and the difficulties they were facing.
Thank you, Hugh, for your brave and exciting film and for promoting voices that need to be heard. Coming out and sharing who you are is a big freaking deal. So here are some real teens talking about the life-changing experience.
Coming out was more of just like a long form process, since I knew around middle school that I was into, more than just guys.
I realized I was queer in high school.
I was 14 years old when I was outed as being gay. Being outed was probably one of the worst experiences of my life.
So I was actually 17 when I first came out, and it was a very organic process. My mom, after picking me up from school, took this weird drive that we never really take and then pulled over.
I first came out as bi at the end of 8th grade, the summer between 8th and 9th grade. I told my sister. She was the first person that I told.
And it was really funny because I'd gone to public school prior to that, and all of my friends teased me, oh, you're going to private school, it's all girls, you're gonna become a lesbian. I was like, oh, you guys don't know anything, I'm so straight. And I'm just so not straight.
I went to Catholic school and homosexuality wasn't even a thing, so I doubt bisexuality would have even been a topic we could say in class.
This girl got really drunk on Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I ended up taking her home in a cab, and I looked up at her and made eye contact with her, and just this weird feeling kind of rushed over my body, and I realized I had just fallen in love with this girl out of nowhere who I didn't know.
And then at that moment, I kind of knew the direction that she was heading towards. and she asked me very bluntly if I was gay. And already I could see in her eyes that there was no kind of malicious intent in her asking me. And so with tears in my eyes, I just kind of said, yeah, Mom, I am gay. And I just started breaking down crying because it was so cathartic, and my mom was just kind of looking at me like, it's not that serious.
And so I would like come to school in like a skirt or something, and someone would be like, oh my God, you're wearing a skirt. And I was like, guys, I do this. Like that's always been something that I've done. And just because I'm a lesbian, like we're gonna make a whole big to-do about the fact that I am wearing a skirt or makeup or something like that.
I actually told my best friend that I was bi the first day that I moved into college, and by my sophomore year, I'd finally told everyone. And I told them via Instagram. My dad was the only one who took it a little bit hard. He was more upset at the fact that I sent him a link to my Instagram post instead of calling him.
Coming out as trans was a lot harder because I didn't have language to describe gender identity until I got to college. And yet, if you're not entirely sure of who or what you are from the second you come out of the womb, people like to invalidate what you have to say about who you are.
If you're thinking of coming out to your parents and you're pretty sure they're accepting, maybe just tell them in person. Don't put it on Instagram and give them a link. But other than that, you know, it was a pretty positive experience, and I wouldn't really regret it or change when I did it or how I did it.
But it also taught me that coming out and sharing who you are doesn't necessarily need to be a grand gesture and a large experience. It can be very personal, and it can be very intimate, and it can just be you starting to live your life openly.
I have something very deep and meaningful to tell you that's gonna come as a surprise to you. I'm gay. Like you didn't know that already. My coming out story was really quite amazing. I had started seeing someone who made me feel things that I had never felt before, and I had left this person behind. He lived in a different city than me, and I was very, very depressed, and my mom came into my room one day and she was like, what's wrong with you? You don't seem like something's off about you. I looked at her and I said, are you sure you want to know this? And she was like, yeah, what is it? And I was like, I'm gay. She just rolled over and looked up at the ceiling, and she was like, I'm not surprised. And I was like, what? No. And then about 5 minutes later, my dad came into my room, and he was like, what do you guys want for breakfast? And she was like, tell him. And I just was like, I'm gay to my dad. And my dad was like, okay, cool. Like, what do you want for breakfast? And I'm very thankful that they were so nonchalant about the whole thing. And of course they had questions later, but I am very thankful for their support because they have been so lovely and amazing about it. And it's been a really cool journey with them, seeing me like this and seeing that I can make a life for myself and be a person that's out and proud. And that's a wrap on Today IRL. I'm Jake DuPree, and I'll see you next time.